back to some completely different problems from the other ones we've looked at in the videos. So we've got this little diagram here, and what you do is each one of the unshaded squares, so we're not going to look at the ones that are like grayed out, but each one of the unshaded squares is found by adding the two numbers that come from above it. So for instance, 11 here is found from 5 plus 6. So the square down here is 6 plus x. The square here is x plus 7. And I don't care the order. X plus 7 is the same thing as 7 plus x. You can change the order of addition and multiplication. And I'm going to keep going down. So this next one right here would be 11 plus 6 plus x. That was what would go right here. And on this one, you would have 6 plus x plus x plus 7. You would have that one and that one together. And then this very bottom one, 60, is found from adding those two right above it. So 60 is found from this guy and this guy. And if you wanted to go ahead and reduce yours down before you wrote it all the way out, you could. I'm going to reduce mine now in this step. It doesn't matter where you reduce them down. But I'm just going to combine like terms to do that. So I'm going to combine all these numbers together. So if I add up 11 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7, that's going to give me 30. And if I add up my x's, I have 3 of those. And now I'm going to solve for x. I know that's not everybody's favorite thing. So doing some algebra here, I'm going to divide by 3, and I'm going to get x equals 10. All right, on to the next one. This next one might take a second to do. A little bit longer than the one above it. This next one is a really famous problem. You gotta follow the rules that are written there. All right, you can't just guess. So for this one, we've got 2 buckets in a stream, and the buckets are 5 gallons and 3 gallons. And we need to get exactly 4 gallons. You can't eyeball it. You got to be exactly 4 gallons. You can't take the 5-gallon one like, I'm going to do it most of the way to the top. Can't do that. That wouldn't be a math problem. And you could be like, why? I don't know, it's a math problem. Like, it's just a logic problem. It's to see if you can problem solve it out. I don't think this would come up in real life, but it's to see if you can logically think through something. I know this wouldn't come up in real life, but there might be a time that you would have to logically think through something. For this problem, you technically can start with either bucket. That is not always the case. So I always say start with the smallest bucket. All right, this one you could go in either case, either way. But just in general, to be safe, we're going to start with the smallest bucket. And you got to do something. I tell people you could like stumble your way to this correct answer because you got to start somewhere. You got to put water in a bucket. And I just told you the first step is to always fill up the smallest bucket. So I'm going to draw a picture for this one because it will be a little lengthy for me to write up the words each time on the video. So I'm going to have a big bucket and a small bucket. I'm going to fill up the big bucket with the 3 gallons because that's how much it holds. And the big bucket is going to have 0 gallons because it doesn't have anything in it. I can put up to 5 in it. Now, what am I going to do? Well, I could pour out the 3-gallon bucket so it doesn't have anything. Or I could pour the 3 gallons into the big bucket. I said we always have to start with the smallest, so we got to do something with that 3-gallon bucket. I can either get rid of it or I can put it in the big one. It makes a little bit more sense to put it in the big one. If I got rid of it, I would have no water. If I put it in the big one, at least I would be somewhat getting somewhere. So I'm going to pour it into the big one. So now the big guy has 3 gallons. It's not all the way full. And the little guy has none. So again, think about what you could do now. You could pour out the 3 gallons. That would have got us nowhere. We're trying to get to 4. We have 3. We're getting close. I could put the 3 back in the little one but then I'm back to step 1. So the thing that makes sense is to fill up the little one again. We want to fill up the little one. The little one is the key to making this work out. So in the big one, I still have 3 gallons. I'm going to fill the little one up, so I have 3 gallons. So I have a total of 6 gallons. And you can fill up the buckets as many times as you want to. You could do this 100 times. It's not going to take that long, I promise. But you could in theory. You're not going to run out of water. All right. What do I do now? I could pour the 3 gallons out of the big one. That would put me right back at step 1, so I'm not going to do that one. I could pour the 3 gallons out of the little one and empty it. That would put me at step 2. Not going to do that. So the only thing I could do is put the little one into the big one. Remember, the big one only holds 5 gallons. So right now there are 6 gallons, so I can't put all of them in there. So I'm going to pour it in here. I've got the 3 original plus, and I'll kind of draw a little line here. I had 3 original, and I'm going to put 2 more in there for a total of 5. So that meant this little one now only has 1 gallon. And you could be like, whoa, what is she talking about? Let me explain. Right here in the step before, I had 6 total gallons of water. The big bucket can only hold 5. So when I went to pour, I had 3 in there and it only holds 5. So that meant it only held 2 more. So I could only get rid of 2 from this smaller bucket. So I was left with 1 gallon. This is the crucial step. If you need to go back and rewatch that, totally go back and rewatch it. This 5 gallons, it might sound crazy, but I'm going to empty it out. So now I have none, and I just have 1 gallon in the small bucket. Just stick with me. You can rewatch this if you need to. I'm going to take that 1 gallon, I'm going to put it in the big bucket, and the little bucket has none. Remember, my goal was to get to 4 gallons. The big bucket has 1 gallon in it. The little bucket can hold 3 gallons, so I'm going to fill it back up. Now, the 1 gallon that I originally had, plus the 3 from the other one, so this one was 1, this was 3, gives me a total of 4 gallons.